exactly do we want to achieve? And I may start by asking you what is public procurement, because I want it to be as participatory as possible. Feel free to stop me if I'm running too fast or if I'm generalizing. Generalizing in the sense like, maybe we like speaking very deep English and grammar. So if it's getting that much, tell me to come back to the world, come back to ice water. So this is a process. Procurement itself is a process, and which is like a chain. It starts and keeps going and revolving. It's not just a one-off affair. Because if you understand procurement process, you can't even disconnect it from the budgeting process. Because procurement is a way of implementing so many particularly capital projects and service delivery in the budgeting process. So basically it's a process through which government contracts with contractors, suppliers, consultants to obtain goods and services and constructions required to fulfill its objectives in the most timely and cost-effective manner. It employs the concept of supply chain management, a process where government meets its needs in a way that imparts value for money on a whole life cycle basis, generating benefits not only to the government agency involved, but to the whole of society, the whole society. And I underline certain things: process I've explained, cost effectiveness, value for money, whole life cycle. So we are not just discussing something that is out there happening. It is something that government does on a day-to-day basis. And when government embarks on this, it touches our respective lives, either in education, or health, or good roads, or access to water. So it's not just something we are handling. It relates to our standard of living and whether we are living well or not. Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, defines it as getting goods and services at the best possible total cost of ownership, in the right quantity, in the right quality, at the right time, in the right place, and from the right source, for the direct benefit of corporations, governments, individuals. We all do procurements at our own individual level. If you work somewhere and you're paid or you're a businessman, when you get your salary or money for a month, you definitely decide how to do what exactly to do. You got to do housekeeping, you got to do school fees, if God has blessed you with children, you got to do health, you got to pay the electricity bill, you got to pay for your water. So somehow you have to sit down and say, what exactly do I need to, let me use that word procure, for my family or for myself to be able to live a decent life in the month. Like I said, it's an integral part of the budgeting process. Issues around budget implementation, service delivery, social, economic, human rights, and developmental concerns. And I dare say, as a basic aphorism, that is something that is more or less so truthful that there are no people denying it. That the level of economic growth and development in any society is directly related and proportional to the maturity of its procurement policy and process, and how that policy responds to the challenges facing the society. Today, part of our basic challenges is that we don't have that value for money. For those of you who were old enough to recall the 60s, when we had the first military coup, or have read about it in literature, the first coup is talked about our problems as those who were taking 10% in gift bags. And today, if Nigeria's problem is just that some people want to take 10%, well, I say, let's put it into our law. If they can take only 10% and work with 90%, will you disagree?
I will agree 100%.
So, in 1960, the problem for a coup was those who were taking 10%. And I don't know how many percent we are taking today. Because sometimes, We can have very beautiful things in the budget, but at the end of the year, you will keep asking, where has this money been invested? I've been following the budget. If not for any number of years, at least since the return to democracy, there's no year I haven't analyzed the budget. Since the days of Obasanjo up till now, you have money voted for SDGs, the Millennium Development Goals, now Sustainable Development Goals. At the presidency, they are in billions as service-wide goals. 40 billion, 100 billion, 200. But at the end of the year, you want to ask yourself, who and who have benefited from this money? And the money has been spent. So that's part of the challenge. Can you put this thing back, guys? It's still booting. So you know that public procurement, if we get it right, we are partially on our way to developing our society. We did a road sector study in Africa and in some parts of the world, and we discovered that Nigeria was the highest cost country in the quantum of money resources that will control 1 kilometer of crude in terms of dollars or in terms of naira. Even when we took cognizance of the fact that some parts of Nigeria, like in the Niger Delta, they have very much ground that maybe you need to sample and refill. We try to get information about other parts of the world where you have the same type of topography, and you still see that Nigeria is behind. So in places where they will, what's happening? Are they doing procurement? They are trying to procure something in which you may not know and for whose benefit and for whose purpose. So that's their own style. So we have a number of mischief that leads to procurement reforms. On our output and outcome level, we had lack of value for money, economy efficiency and effectiveness. I will come shortly to